Hello everyone and welcome back to Tiresome. Today it's time to actually fix this paint. We got a three-parter coming right up. Now then, first things first. This series, this painting my car for as cheap as possible series, was the thing that sort of kicked the Tiresome channel off really massively. It's grown by like 10 times? No. Yes, 10 times, I think, since then. I think it was around about 600 subscribers when we first started doing these videos, and now we're on coming up to 5,500. It's insane. So firstly, thank you very much for tuning in, watching, commenting, and all that sort of stuff. Thank you very much. Secondly, let's talk about what went wrong with this the first time round. Now, a lot of learning was done back then. It was maybe about 7 or 8 months ago now, and the main thing, well, there was many things that went wrong, but the main thing that I did wrong that really scarpered this paint job was do primer again the night before. I took it to my dad's workshop to put that final coat of purple as you see it on now. That was the nail in the coffin, because the primer didn't have enough time to cure, and it was literally like trying to sand down clay or something like that. And that meant that all those ridges and grooves, even though we're using Technoloid paint, which is famous for sort of being able to dry flat without any ridges, it didn't matter because it was drying flat to the ridges beneath it. So all the ridges and everything and the texture that is on the car now is because of that very poor decision to do primer once more. If I didn't do that primer, then it would be less worse, but still terrible. That brings me to point number 3, right? What are we doing now? What are we doing differently? Well, firstly, this car has so much paint on it, not just the purple that you see behind me, but also primer. So we're actually going to reuse that primer. We're just going to sand the purple off, get back to that grey, and then literally paint on top of that once more. But we're using a different paint. We're using a spray paint. It's a metallic paint. It's actually a Daihatsu purple. As we speak, it's not arrived yet, so I haven't actually seen it in person. Hopefully in this video we'll be able to get the package will arrive and I'll be able to show you what it looks like. That's the dream. It's spray cans. We're going to be rattle canning it this time rather than brushing it. That being said, Tim has told me, well, Tim will be here momentarily, but Tim has told me that I've chosen the wrong paint, basically. The paint that's on it is all oil-based, right? It's all that oil-based, really thick, gloopy Technoloid paint, including the primer. And the paint I've ordered is spray cans are acrylic paint, which don't mix, you know. It's rather like when you put vinegar into oil, you know, as in like, you know, when you dip bread and all that sort of fancy stuff. Very much like that. It all floats and separates. So it could be that when we sand this down and we spray a bit of our, you know, stuff on, it doesn't quite work and it's not compatible. So we will do a test patch before we cover the whole car. I have read, I know a lot of people that are paint aficionados, including Tim himself, will say that it's just never going to work. What's the point in even trying? It is rumoured that if the oil-based primer is cured and is like properly cured, like has been on the car for 7 months, then actually you should be able to spray whatever you want over the top. I don't know. We're going to try it because I really want to have a go. Worst case scenario, if the paint's not compatible, I will just literally sand it back to the primer, because that will at least be a flat, nice grey primer, and that's better than this ripply, horrible old purple paint job that's really not the best. To the point where I haven't even put, you can see right there on the corner, I haven't put any of the finishing sort of strips, grills, anything like that. The indicators are still hanging off. They have been for the last 7 months. They still work, it's still legal, but I literally have lost all aesthetic motivation for this car, and I really want to get it back up to that like sort of level, ready for car shows, because I really want to be proud of this car and I want to show it off and I want to take it to Cars and Coffee. But at the moment, I'm really honestly not proud of it, and I haven't been since that green paint job started cracking years ago. So let's see if we can turn that around. We're going to start off by, indeed, sanding the hell out of this purple. There we go, first attack has been done, and you can see these 2 patches have come up all right, whereas the rest of it not so much, and you can see all of the different lines of the texture there. So if you weren't able to see that on camera before, this is a really good way of demonstrating how bad it actually looks in person. You can see all those ridges, especially in the light when it's reflecting off of it. It kind of almost looks like the car's always constantly wet. promised myself I wasn't going to use this time, but this is actually so much paint that I'm going to use it, or at least try. I'm getting the belt sander out again. This is quite difficult. There's so much paint. A lot of paint.
I've never used one before.
That's what the handle's for on top.
Yeah.
Did that really take you?
Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting it to go that much. I think it really bit in. I think that's what it did. It bit that.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you can see it. It's skid mark all along the top. Go on then, have another go. I want to watch now.
I was going to say, showing you a video now.
I am.
Oh, that was going.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Here we go, round 2. I mean, that is so much easier. Oh my god! You can see how uneven it's wearing on the bottom.
Yes.
My dad gave me some, because actually back when we did this originally, he only had DA pads and didn't have mouse ones. So I was putting the DA pads on a mouse, which is actually fine because that's too big. That's okay. You're just being less efficient. But
yeah.
Right then, everyone. So the DA does work very well. Actually, I've never actually used it for sanding or really any polishing, to be honest with you. I haven't used it much at all. But that was fucking life changing. I'm gonna ask my dad, who owns a DIY store, as you know, because he has these in stock. So tomorrow we can get some in. But for right now, we're going to persevere.
So I will say this is definitely not how I would start to sand a car.
You're very much a perfectionist and everything must be done properly, and this is not how you do that.
Exactly.
We're using the wrong tools, and hopefully tomorrow, which will be like, what, 30 seconds for you guys?
Yeah.
We'll have the correct pads and tools. Also, I'm doing this, I can sort of make it nice and flat, which is nice, and Tim can take the tops off. But we can't really, I don't think either of us have the ideal for removing paint. And also, I'm keeping my eye out, man. I'm looking for that Yodel van, because I am really anxious to know if this paint's going to work or not. Also, what colour it even is, because I bought it on eBay, and even though you know what it's like, you see the picture and you're like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I did look at the paint code at cars that were sprayed in it as well. And it looks alright, but you can never really tell until you see it in person. So I'm looking forward to either it, you know, looking cool, or just literally falling off the car or bubbling or whatever it may do. Oh, not you, Peugeot! A Yodel van!
Say again?
Do you want to swap?
No.
I got through to green!
I was going to say, probably a bit silly to actually doing the bits that you've already done.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay, fine. They're not done yet.
They're part done.
Been put out of adjustment somehow. The belt keeps sliding off. Lovely, done. You can see the line where neither of us can get to in the middle of the roof.
Yeah, trying to reach.
Yeah, same. Yeah, again, DA.
Yes, exactly.
Come on, Yodel.
It's starting to.
Yeah.
At least you can feel it's flat now, so we're able to make it flat.
Yeah.
from that.
Terrible news, the weather is coming in. We're starting, I don't know if you can see the sky in the background, but it's horrific. The weather's coming in. We knew we were only going to have a couple of hours to play with tonight before this happened. Unfortunately, I planned all this and everything, ordered the paint and everything when the weekend was forecast to be looking awesome. And of course, a little bit of England struck. However, you can see, even though this does look horrific, it is flat actually, and it's promising. It's promising. Tomorrow we're going to be back. We're going to have DA sanders. Tim's going to bring his. My dad, as you know, has a DIY store, and we're going to have some of those sanding discs for those. Batteries fully charged. We're not going to use the belt sander because that went through 2 4-amp hour batteries in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably less than 10 minutes of runtime. So we're probably going to try and stay away from that. But yeah,
it's a bit vicious, really. For
yeah.
things as
Train.
Well.
Don't know, I guess it's my fault.
Long train.
Long train.
Yeah.
But yes, we're going to pack up and get all the tools in before the weather really starts coming in. I'm probably going to sneak out in the night into the shed when the paint does arrive and have a quick squirt to see what it looks like, because I'm really anxious to know what colour it looks like. But hey, I'll cut to tomorrow. Right, everyone, it is day 2, and good news, the paint arrived yesterday. Bad news is it's quite horrifically not the right colour. I did double check the listing, absolutely everything like that, and well, this is what it looks like. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that's the bluest blue I've ever blued. Not only that, that's the little test patch, which we did to make sure it wasn't going to react with any of the primer. We also did a bit on top of the paint there. Don't know if you can see that in the light, but that is just to see how it reacts with the purple, also to see what the finish looks like. Also, we've got some DA pads, courtesy of Father, and the DA. I mean, this was literally like 30 seconds of work, and it was much less effort than, well, the mouse sander and the belt sander. So there's a bit of a sort of conundrum at the moment with regards to what do we do here? Because the thing is, that paint isn't going on too thick either. So you can see the difference between the purple, the primer, and the green, and the fiberglass, the white. You can see all those different shades. We tried, that's 2 coats on there, and it's still showing through. I've got 8 400ml cans of this paint, which is probably enough for maybe 1, maybe 2 coats, but it might be that we just roll it anyway, even though it's the wrong colour, because it will dry flat. It will be fine, really, there. Or we go primer and let that cure, sand that back, and have a grey Scimitar, or we do a complete redo, and I could just return the paint that we bought and I go purple and try just doing the same thing again with the same product. And Tim, who is back here again, will, you know, he could even spray it properly if we thin it down. He's got an air gun and all that sort of guff. But at the moment, all we're doing is sanding it down flat. That's literally what needs to happen first, so we're going to crack on and do that. You might see some Ken as well. Oh, little bit of Ken. Right, so we've got a solution. We're going to cover it in bedliner. Not necessarily my favourite thing to do. Don't like the idea of it too much. I wanted my Scimitar to be pretty and like a show car, not like a ratty car, but to be honest with you, that's pretty much my only option right now. I can still send the blue fucking paint back, and I have 5 cans of this. Don't know if it's not gonna be enough, especially not when this stuff goes on. But the good stuff with this, or the good thing with this stuff, should I say, is that, fuck off, is that you literally just need to flatten the paint. It doesn't need to be back to single colour or anything. It doesn't really matter at all. You can just squirt this on, and no matter what's under it, as long as it's level and, you know, doesn't have any holes in it, it'll be fine. So that's good. If I do run out of this, then that means I can order some next week, and it'll arrive, and I can still do it before I have to use this car for going away for a nice holiday with my girlfriend. Lovely. Penis.
Hello.
So, this is the aforementioned...
Advertising.
No, it's not. That was really... It looks so deliberate, didn't it?
Yes. I would product placement.
Yeah, I'd accept it, though. This is the sort of purple, the Daihatsu purple. That's definitely not purple. It's blue that we're not using because it requires too many coats, should I say, and doesn't look that fabulous. This is what we're going with. This is the bedliner. It's quite weird. It actually squirts out like bedliner, like it's got sand in the paint. We did also try the red. That's the same Supra red, but that actually reacted with the paint. So I'm glad I got a bit of reaction in there. That's good. And that's just some matte black that I only had one can of anyway, but did it for fun. Not using that. Bedliner. That's the one. Right then, everyone, there's been a development, unfortunately due to strict time constraints that I'm enforcing. We've come up with an idea. It's a good one. We're obviously still going to do the bedliner. I'm kind of quids in for that now. I think it's going to look amazing. But we're also bringing back the old bonnet. It was Tim's idea. It's summer, right? This is my summer bonnet. It's the car shows. You want to get the nice one with the vents out, right? But there's a lot of pitting and random sort of stuff going on, so we are actually going to have to sort of do a little refurb on that anyway. The original idea was we have to sand all the purple off the other bonnet anyway, so why not just use this one, fog it with the liner, and you're good to go. In reality, I think they're probably going to end up taking about the same time because this one needs the restoration anyway, but it'll be worth it. I'll have my Venti boy back again, which I've been wanting for a while now. You want to help me with the bonnet a second?
Scratch the paint. You wish. Yeah, that would help.
End of day 2. and the car is definitely very, very, very near ready for paint. Let me talk you through it. We've got the new bonnet on, well, you know, the old new bonnet on, which obviously needs every bit of attention. It's got lots of cracks and things going on there, but to be honest with you, I think I'm just going to blast it down with a bit of sandpaper and just roll it, see what happens. The headlight surrounds are off, but I have purposely left this sort of purple bit behind the grille there purple, because I thought if it does show through a little purple accent, that'd be pretty cool. There we go. Further down here, we got the mirrors off, and that's because we actually got new mirrors to go on. A pair of new mirrors. I've owned them for maybe 4 years and never put them on. There's the back corner, and yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, those bits there, I'm doing the same thing as with the grille. Like maybe just a little purple accent or whatever. You never know. But yeah, it's looking obviously horrific. Both Ken and Tim think that I should keep it like this for like the rat look. I'd personally rather die, but it's, I mean, I do know what they mean. It's got like a patina and it's got all the sort of stuff going on, but it just looks haggard. I want to be proud of it. I want people to think, oh, that's a nice car, not just run with fear. But it's definitely getting ready for some paint. Of course, the other thing is we only have about 4.5 cans of the matte black paint anyway, so that'll be fun. But we've got a little bit more preparation to do tomorrow. Lovely. See you then. To day 3 actually of the prep video for the Scimitar. So day 1 was Tim and I just going through it Friday after work, having a quick look at what tools we had, what our options were. We couldn't really get much done. It started raining and we didn't have the proper equipment or anything like that. Day 2, of course, a majority of the work was done. Ken joined Tim and I and really got into this. And now, day 3. So what's the plan for today, eh? This morning I started on the bonnet and really sanded that down, as you can see. But yeah, apart from that, I need to get into the ducts here and the vents up there, and we're also going to go round to get rid of any other sort of shiny bits of paint that may be lingering around here, just to make sure that the new paint will adhere. We are going to start, when we start painting, on the mirror plinths, because apart from the car looking horrific in my opinion, the only reason why the car couldn't be driven at the moment is just because it hasn't got any mirrors, and obviously with it looking like this, it would draw quite a lot of attention. And at least at the moment, if it had mirrors, it might draw attention, but at least, I mean, they can't actually do anything. They'd go around, kick a few tyres, all the lights and everything work. It's perfectly legal, but yeah. The boot aperture as well needs a bit of work, but apart from that, Tim and I are going to crack on for another, well, maybe half an hour today, and then it will be time to switch over to video number 2, which will be painting. Tim's rubbing my crack. Now then, the operation that we're going to do now, that we've done that little bit of sanding, is we're going to blow the car off with the little blowy thing that I used in the first series, and you may have seen actually in the last couple of days, probably, it's got to be in there somewhere, just to get all the big bits of dust off. Then hose the car down with my garden hose, then wipe the car down with some white spirit and blue roll, and that will be the prep done. I'm looking forward to the prep being done. Are you, Tim?
Very much so.
Yeah. Purple rain, purple rain. And now we shall wait for it to dry. Car is completely dry, apart from the knacker ducts, which are, well, as Tim said, acting like swimming pools.
Tiny swimming pools for mice.
For mice. How are we looking, my lovely?
Oh, I'm pretty much done. Mate.
Oh, yeah?
Awesome.
Oh.
Well, you're going to have to mask it up now.
Yeah. Oh, no. A little casualty. Oh, no, son of me. Oh, no, son of me. My indicator. It is not indicating. Tim has done that wonderful job of white spiriting the car over. I had to go off and fight an ant's nest for a second, but we are now going to do some masking, and I think the way that we're actually going to do this, the way that you should do this, is to mask up all the windows properly with newspaper or some sort of, you know, proper paper that you get for this sort of job, or even plastic sheeting, lots of that sort of stuff. We're going to go with the someone holds a piece of cardboard deflecting the spray away from places you don't want it to go. Alright, good. But what we are going to do is use some masking tape around the edges of the seals and stuff to try and protect them somewhat. Even though the seals are black and so's the car, or the car will be, so, you know, we'll see. And that is that. Scimitar prep is done, and that means that next week you're going to see us start to actually put some paint on this. I know, I'm half really looking forward to it and half really not looking forward to it. We'll see which way it goes. By the way, guys, this is the first video that we've done where the tiresome.co.uk website is actually online now. Head over there if you want to buy some tiresome t-shirts. And no, don't worry, I'm not going to say that every video. Now and again, maybe. Alright, bye!